Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on this channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about understanding the psychic attack of the narcissist. So to understand what it is and to understand if you're under it, right? So a lot of the time when we are in these cycles, you can feel like you're in a trance. You're not really yourself, right? And subconsciously you're being programmed by the narcissist, mainly from your fear body, mainly from what unresolved fears we have inside of us, right? So the narcissist puts us in a cycle, which is always like love bomb, devalue, discard, hoover, love bomb, devalue, discard. That's why you know that it is an entity of consciousness they're working with. Someone said, oh, I don't agree. I got a comment saying that they thought that this was just a personality disorder and just about the ego, and it's actually not. I'll tell you why, because they all, and I'll tell you how you know for sure, they all do the same thing. They're under the influence of an entity of consciousness. Love is a consciousness, yeah? When I'm under the influence, when I'm actually vibrating at that level of love, I'm going to do very loving things in the world. A narcissist is operating, made a spiritual choice with the entity of consciousness that we're calling narcissism, that shows up in very almost textbook ways, you know, very, very, very similar ways. They all have the same sequence, they all have the same patterns. They might do slightly different things, but it is completely predictable and sequential, which is why you know that they are soul detached and acting under the influence of an entity of consciousness that they are like kind of in agreement with. They're not raising their consciousness. They have basically bolted on to everything that's available in that limited consciousness, actually, that we're calling narcissism. Something like love is a very expansive consciousness, right? There's so many possibilities in love. In narcissism, it's a very limited consciousness, and that's why they all do the same thing. So the psychic attack, you'll notice things start going wrong in your life often around narcissists. Technology goes wrong a lot. Maybe appointments get moved and finances dry up, you start getting sick, and your fears will take over. So basically, the narcissist is designed to traumatize you, because trauma blocks manifestation and our ascension. When we're very traumatized, we're not able to evolve, right? So what it's doing to the planet is keeping people unascended, basically stuck, yeah? When we're not in trauma, when we can come into our hearts, into our own energy, then we can create from there. But when we're traumatized, we're kind of paralyzed in our energetic field and in our manifestations and our ascension. So the narcissist is a distortion on the planet here to actually stop us ascending, right? Because when you come out of trauma and pain and fear, you ascend into love, contribution, unity, oneness, contribution in a whole new way. So a lot of the influence is subliminal. It's not always in words that they're kind of trying to control you. They're trying to control your emotional body and your psychic energy field. And you'll notice that you might do things out of character. You might feel like you're in a trance. You might know on some level that you don't really agree with what you're doing, but you're doing it anyway. And that causes a lot more trauma, because when we act out of character and not according to our own values, right, we actually lose trust with the universe and with ourselves. So we don't trust ourselves to live authentically, which is everything the narcissist is trying to do. So you might, under psychic attack, you feel often compelled to act in ways that are just not you, not the real you. And on some level, you'll know. And when we go into trauma, when we're traumatized, often our being leaves our body, right? We're still connected. We're not detached like the narcissist, but the being kind of leaves the body when we're in a lot of trauma. So we're not fully home. So you get to actually call your spirit back, call your higher self back. You get to breathe. You get to come back into your body. In the earlier videos, I did a lot where I was touching my body, bringing myself back into my body and asking you to do that. Because when your consciousness is fully in your body, you're fully in control of yourself. You're more likely to connect to your heart, which you can intend to do, and your values, and you're less likely to be under psychic attack. But when we're very traumatized, when we're most vulnerable, it's also the time when we'll be compelled to do things out of sheer fear or anger, right? That are not our true selves. Maybe drugs and alcohol, because we feel disconnected, because we are disconnected, right? Addictions start when we feel disconnected from self, yeah? But the challenge with the addictions is that we're vulnerable to even more psychic attack when we use substances and other things that further disconnect us from ourselves, right? We're actually kind of more vulnerable to even more psychic attack from the narcissist. But the reason we turn to those things is because we feel out of body and we feel out of control. Yeah, because we're under psychic attack, if it's to do with narcissistic abuse, right? So if you've ever felt like you behaving in a certain way and you're kind of in a trance with someone, but you can't seem to get out of it, that could be under psychic attack. If around someone, everything seems to go wrong in your life, it could be under psychic attack. If you're starting to turn to substances and very odd things are happening in your life, right? That's a spiritual war, when it seems like everything's coming at you and it seems like almost like too much to be just random events, right? If you've ever been through those periods I have, where like my, serious things got shut down in my life, like technology, things to do with a business that I run got completely hacked into and deactivated. My dog getting sick out of the blue, like all different things all at once, right? Some of them could have just meant to happen anyway, but they were all in a short space of time. People coming up from my past and, showing up in really low vibrational ways, right? I was under psychic attack. So how do we stop it? How do we prevent it? What do we do when we're in it? As soon as you're aware you're in it, you're winning. Yeah? The more I've got tools and Sovereign obviously for this. I've got tools on the channel when you're under psychic attack. You get to say no. You get to push your aura out. Yeah? You get to ask your inner being to come back into your body. You get to focus on brain-heart coherence, like just connecting your heart and your brain. And I would really come into your body as well, right? So you stay in the physical, you stay connected to self. So that could be as simple as spending a few moments saying, what can I see right now? What can I hear? What can I smell? What can I taste? What can I touch? Just bringing you into the body, slowing things down, changing your awareness so that it's not being taken, like just dragged into something that's not the real you. Coming into our bodies, even if it's uncomfortable. And if the world has gone crazy around you and it is the Twilight Zone and it's the complete circus of the merry-go-round, there's no doubt there's a psychic attack going on. Again, our auras collapse during that, and it's very hard when we're in it, because when we're in it, it can feel so scary, right, that we can just be taken over by our fears. And because our inner being kind of vacates sometimes, right, we leave our bodies when we're very traumatized, right? It's like catch-22, because we need our inner being to kind of come back home. But when it's vacated, it's just the fear that is motivating us, and we're getting caught in all the trauma and the drama and the fear, rather than the being in our bodies, being in our hearts, and actually being able to manifest, right? So whatever you've done under psychic attack, whatever's happened to you, just know that it was a spiritual battle, yeah? To take you away from you. And all you've got to do is keep coming home. Coming into our bodies more step by step, day by day, forgiving anything that's happened in those cycles. And forgiveness in my world just means letting go. It doesn't mean I forgive the behavior. It doesn't mean I endorse the behavior. I just let go of it. I just transmute it into love and alchemize it on the planet, and I call my spirit back. And I let go of any attachments, implants, anything that was put on me through all time, space, dimensions, and realities. I'm letting go of that now. If you want to do that, just do it with me now, right? Releasing any cords, vows, implants, psychic attack, anything stemming from that through all time, space, dimensions and realities, transmuting that and alchemizing that into pure love, bringing us back into ourself, connecting ourself, our human ego with our soul, calling our soul back. Okay guys, any other questions, let me know. Lots of love and I'll speak to you soon.